Auburn opens fall camp, and their 2026 class is number one in the nation. We got a lot to talk about on this live edition of the Uptempo podcast.
You are now listening to the War Report Podcast Network.
Let's go, Uptempo gang. We're back. But more importantly, Auburn football is back, baby. Them Tigers took to the field today, kicking off fall camp. Man, welcome in everybody. Dustin Smith and Blake Lane back with another live edition of the Uptempo podcast. Blake, that weight, brother, is getting a little bit shorter. Did you see Perry Thompson out there today in that uniform?
Freak. Hey, 251, freak. Dude looks unreal, bro.
Yeah, he's a monster, man. Seeing those pictures come in, just really exciting to see the boys finally out there. Tonight, we are going to talk about the 2026 class, take a look at some of these commitments, and I'm going to tell y'all why it is really important that Auburn is number one. Because I see a lot of people, Blake, saying, well, I know we're number one, but this is still 2 years away, and these kids are only sophomores. I got some strong opinions about that. But before we do, man, like I talked about, Auburn did open up fall camp. There's not going to be a whole lot of intel coming out of the first day. We got our first look at some guys. We got to see KLS out there. Like you mentioned, we got to see Perry Thompson. So that's very exciting. But, Blake, as we get into next week, man, and the intel starts to kind of roll in, what are some storylines? Maybe what are some things that you're kind of looking at, you want to hear come out of camp?
I want to see the D-line. I want to hear good things about the D-line. I want to hear good things about the back end, the secondary. How is Keontae Scott looking? What are we going to look like at that other corner spot? You know we got Kay and Lee. I want to hear about the safety position. We lose both safeties. You lose Puckey. You lose Simp. I want to hear about that. And obviously everybody wants to hear about Peyton Thorne, right? I want to hear how these young receivers are getting after it. It looks like Dustin said, it looks like Perry Thompson is a freak of nature. And I want to see Cam Coleman. I want to see Bryce Kane. I want to see Malcolm Simmons. Even if Malcolm Simmons and Bryce Kane don't touch the field this year, I just want to hear great things about them coming along. Auburn at the receiving position. It's a position that we have struggled at for years, so I want to hear nothing but positivity out of that position. And obviously, we look at the offensive line, Dustin. I think that's going to be a super positive for Auburn this year. I think we're going to hear great things. You got the anchor back with Connor Lew, one of the best in the country, in my opinion. So it's just really all around, man. But if I had to put my finger on one, I would say the defensive front. I want to see what Keldrick Falk and those boys what are they bringing to the show.
Yeah, for sure. I hear you on that. I agree with you. I think as we get closer to the season, my concern for the outside corner spot has kind of gone up a little bit. So I wouldn't mind hearing some notes about maybe a guy like J.C. Hart having a good camp, kind of stepping up and being ready. Because like me and you have mentioned recently here, if you get an injury to K in league, Keontae Scott, and all of a sudden it's looking real thin, just that transfer of Colton Hood kind of put us in a bad spot. And then, Tyler Scott getting hurt as well. So there's JD. Yeah, Kite. Yeah, I could keep forgetting about Kite because he's coming out the portal. If Kite can step up and be that guy, Charles Kelly thinks he is, so that makes me feel good about it. But yeah, definitely need some bodies to. I want to hear about that, and just the obvious, like people staying healthy, and I don't want to get any. Hey man, PT threw 3 picks today. Like like none of that. Let's keep it nice, clean. Let's keep the offense moving forward. I know that Jarquez, I believe, Damari Austin, they're both in non-contact jerseys. Hugh kind of saying, look, I know what I got in these guys. So big opportunity, in my opinion, for Jeremiah Cobb. You're going to be the best running back out there that's in a non or in a being allowed to get hit and whatnot. So go out there and prove your worth. Looking at that secondary, Sylvester Smith, ship up and show me something, dog. I believe in you. Very high recruit, highly ranked recruit. If you remember, he's Tennessee bound, and then he came in and we flipped him, and it was just a real quick process with Sylvester Smith. We've heard nothing about good things since he's been on campus. So yeah, just new faces, man, and those question marks that we have, like you said, they're on D line. Wouldn't mind hearing about a couple of those guys, maybe a Rakes or a Bleedy, like solidifying their spot. Wouldn't mind Hugh coming out in a week or two and saying Jason Jones is really taking a step forward this camp. That'd be big.
Hey, what about the number change for Damari? What are we thinking about that? What's that 0 look like? Do you like it?
Yeah, so I do like it. It's not like he changed to something goofy, but like 17 for running back, I would say okay,
Yeah.
that was stupid. But 22 is like such a solid running back number, just a classic running back number. I like 22 more than 0, I guess, but like 0 is clean. It looks good on him.
It just, I don't know. Like I like it, but it's gonna take a little getting used to, just because I'm with you. Like seeing a running back where 0 just kind of, I don't know. It's just a little weird to me. I like that 22.
For sure. All right, we're about to get into these 2026 guys. I get this question every time, bro. And Alumni Hall. I do believe I got this one at Alumni Hall. Greg says 30 more days. Yes, sir, bro. Cannot wait. They're going fast. Going fast, Greg. Like 14 days until high school football starts, baby. 13 days. So we're getting right there. Trevor says, last Auburn wide receiver I was hyped about like this is Duke Williams. You going back a little bit, but yeah, Duke had all the potential, man. Duke Williams had all the potential in the world.
So good.
Yeah. Five Adams says update on Deuce Knight. Well, we've been giving updates to our members, and yeah, just I think it looks good for the Tigers. We'll kind of.
I'll say this: Notre Dame's worried. They're worried. They're panicking. It's they're panicking, and like I told y'all the other night, Tuesday night, I'm from right down the road, and I just don't see a kid from Lucedale, Mississippi, going to South Bend, Indiana. It gets cold up there. It's just not the place that I think fits Deuce Knight, in my opinion. And I feel the same way about like KJ Lacey if he was still on the table. I don't think South Bend is a place that fits him, and I think Auburn would fit Deuce a little bit more, man. I think he would. I think he understands the Alabama love and just the state and like adapting. Like is he gonna go up to Indiana and fit in? Is he gonna go to Auburn and fit in? I think he gets the state of Alabama is what I'm trying to say there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think Deuce Knight, I think it's positive for Auburn right now where we sit.
Yeah. SEC ball versus independent ball. You
Yeah.
make the decision, So we like the way the Tigers are trending. If I had to guess right now, I think that he ends up in Auburn's class. He appears to be the quarterback that Auburn's kind of focused in on. All right, so look, let's get over here and take a look at these 2026 commitments. Like I mentioned, y'all all know, after Big Cat Weekend, Auburn vaults up to number 1 in the 2026 class. Kai Ellis was already committed, and then Denarius Gray, the wide receiver. So well, we add 3 guys on the defensive side of the ball, and we're going to start with the one that I'm most excited about. Been kind of trending towards Auburn for a while. I always kind of heard like, hey, he holds Auburn in high regard. He's been visiting since he was in middle school. So a name that we've been hearing about for a long time. Hezekiah Harris. I got him as a 5-star on this graphic. The reason I do that is because even though he's technically not a 5-star yet, he is the 16th overall player nationally according to On3, and he is the 27th overall player nationally according to 24/7. And if you know how the rankings work, eventually he's going to get a 5th star if those hold. And looking at his tape today, Blake, it's kind of getting a refresher on it. I've watched it several times. Like I said, he's been trending for a while, but it's just, I guess, just such a natural pass rusher. Like he just looks like a guy that he's born to get after the quarterback. He knows that he knows how to do it. There's still a lot of raw to his game, which there always will be when you're discussing sophomores 2026 guy. Like they still got 2 years of high school ball. There's still a whole lot of growing to do. But edge rusher, as of now, he does have a big frame. If he keeps growing, it might be similar to a Keldrick Fault situation. But listed at 6'5", 230, coming out of Huntsville, Alabama. Like I said, it just when you watch the tape, just that first step, just that natural get off, just the ability to get after the quarterback quick, wreak havoc, and you see the frame and you see the potential in his game for there to be so much more. Right now, it's pretty much just go get the quarterback. But you can definitely see that he has all the traits to where eventually he's going to be disrupting run plays on the field, first, second, and third down, and all that kind of stuff. So this is a kid, Blake, who is look, like I mentioned his rankings there. Everyone thinks very highly of him. Rivals he's ranked lowest by Rivals, and he still is their 100th player, number 7 edge in the country, number 3 edge in the country according to On3, and number 4 24/7. So winning the state, getting a kid out of Huntsville right there, and a kid who really the sky is the limit.
I'll tell you what I really like about him, and that's his hands, the power. I watched his huddle, and there is a play where he abuses a tackle with his left hand. And I'm talking about this is a sophomore in high school, folks, this past year, and flattened him with his left hand. Straight to the quarterback, sack, loss of like 9 yards. I said, hold up 1 minute. This kid's a sophomore in high school? His tape is unreal. And like you said, he is raw, but he's also 15 years old, going on 16 years old. Like, it's insane how talented this kid is. I love his physicality. I love the way he tackles. I love the way he will hit you. And watching his tape, man, it just popped. It popped. And this is a big time get for the Auburn Tigers. This is one that I'm sure Auburn is just, they're licking their chops with. They're just so ready for him to get to campus. And I know we still got a little wait, but this is one that we got to be excited about, Dustin.
Blake, this is a guy who, if he hits his ceiling, is a top 50 type draft pick, right? Like, won't make it past the second round of the NFL draft. I'm thinking about that kind of talent and putting it with your boy DJ Durkin. My goodness, my goodness, it's exciting now.
I think that's where all the hype is right now. Everybody's like, well, Auburn's killing it on the defensive side of the ball. Yeah, because they're putting a plan together on that side. They're attacking athletes that they say, hey, this is what we're looking for, and you fit that mold. Like we want you to be a part of that. And when we go through all this, you're going to see all these guys that are committing to Auburn. They're very similar to each other. JaMichael Garrett, like very similar. Another freak athlete that we're about to talk about. Like it's just, it's crazy, man. The talent that Auburn's bringing in. It feels good, don't it?
Yeah, for sure, man. Josh Aldridge doing his thing.
Killing
and to a point that you always make, Blake, we sit here and we talk about the 3 losing seasons in a row and where this program's at and all this kind of stuff. And we look at it to this realist, but you always fight back eventually and you say, damn it, this is Auburn. Yeah. I've seen Auburn win national titles. I've seen Auburn play for national titles, and I've seen Auburn get screwed out of national titles. So we know that it's all there. This is a kid who has been visiting Auburn for a long time in a time period where Auburn hasn't been any good, and Auburn's been trending for him.
Yep.
Auburn's always been one of the top schools. Now, being in the state obviously helps, but there's still a mystique to Auburn. And it's still, look, despite how bad we've been, he's still seen guys like Derek Hall get drafted off the defensive line. So he knows, like, the path is there at Auburn. And when you start seeing the Cam Coleman's and the Perry Thompsons and the DeAndre Carters and the Connor Lews and all that kind of talent rolling in on the offensive side of the ball, and then you start seeing these guys on the side of the ball that you're going to play on defense, and you're like, all right, so they're still doing what they do on defense. They're playing Auburn defense. They're always going to do that, and the offense is getting fixed. I just say all that to say, man, like there's still a mystique about Auburn. We're still a top 15 all-time program, and kids are still going to look at it and say, hey, I want to go there. That's a school that I can see myself playing at. Because what do you see when you walk around the stadium? You see statues of former Heisman Trophy winners. Now, is an edge rusher ever going to get that? No. But what can he look up on the stadium and see? There's all kind of defenders that got their picture hanging off the side of that stadium. He can look up there and see Nick Fairley. And we can go all the way down to guys in the 80s who got their picture hanging up there. So there's a mystique to Auburn, man. And these kids know Auburn's going to play good defense.
Yep.
I mean, we're just going to do it. I don't want to jinx us. And it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny looking at it and you're like, man, go back to like 2013 and 2014. And if we had a halfway decent defense to go with the couple years we had a good offense, Auburn's trying to get them both together at the same time. Yeah. And, and if we can do that, man, like my guy Dukes over at On 3 says all the time, this situation's a powder keg. Auburn's a powder keg, and it's ready to blow, man. It's ready to blow. Mm-hmm. When you get 5-star, if everything pans out, NFL bodies, NFL talent, NFL skill set, like Hezekiah Harris here, it's big time, man. It's big time. All right, on to Gulf Shores, Alabama, baby. State champs. JaMichael Garrett commits this weekend. 4-star linebacker, 6'1", 195. Gulf Shore Dolphins. That is a program that is making some noise fast. Blake, watching the tape today, JaMichael is super, super athletic, man. It is unreal. And if you're looking at the picture right now on video, he's the big one right there. He's big number 7. He's the one that looks like an SEC player. That's that get off the bus body right there, man.
Yep.
On 3 has him as 151st player overall in the country, the number 14th ranked linebacker. 24/7 has him as 125th player in the country, number 8 linebacker. And Rivals has him as the 187th player in the country and the number 12 linebacker. So yet again, a consensus top 150 prospect, no matter where you look, is committed to the Auburn defense. This one, Blake, he went and visited LSU, and an LSU beat writer actually put in a prediction for them. And then less than 36 hours later, he's at Auburn for Big Cat and commits to Auburn. So I know that you've watched a little bit of him, and me and you were talking before we hit record. He will be playing, or Saraland will be going to Gulf Shores September the 6th. So Antonio Coleman and JaMichael Garrett going up against each other. That'll be a big-time game. I think me and Blake are both going to make an attempt to get to that one. So just an athletic freak, Blake. And, again, when you watch a kid, when I'm watching this tape, I was like, hey, this guy's still got 2 more years to learn football. He's just flying around right now, destroying the offense. He's still got 2 more years. I wouldn't be surprised if he's a consensus top 100, top 75 player by the time it comes time for him to sign his senior year.
I'll tell you, the speed popped when I watched him. Freak of nature that we're watching right here. Like, you go look at it. His speed is electric. I like this kid moving like this. And then I saw him drop in coverage and get a pick and take it back to the crib. I said, hold on 1 minute. I was like, this is unreal. This kid is a ball player. JaMichael Garrett, 251 kid, Gulf Shores, Alabama. This is another one that gets me excited because we can rewind to the Nick Saban era. And if Nick Saban was still at Alabama and he goes after a guy like JaMichael Garrett, he's going to Alabama. He's going to Alabama. But now the roles are a little reversed. And Hugh Freeze is doing his thing. DJ Durkin is doing his thing. And now Auburn's the player in the state. So you get kids like JaMichael Garrett. I can't wait to get down there and watch him. I can't wait. I'm super excited about this one. I think this is a huge pickup for Auburn. Just the power, the speed, just a kid that will absolutely rock you. He brings it every play too. That's another thing is this guy has a motor and he don't stop. And that's one thing I really liked when I watched his tape is he gets after it 110% every play, bro. So I'm really excited about this one.
Yeah, cup full of juice. He ain't my man. JaMichael ain't lacking for the juice, buddy. He's
He's a
looking
go
for the
getter.
contact, and I like the point you make about him dropping back in coverage because he is versatile. When you look at that athletic ability, it's like some guys, their body, like the guy we just talked about. You're never going to have Hezekiah Harris to be dropping back in coverage, obviously, because he's 6'5", 230. Like it's just he's super athletic, but it's a different type of athleticism. JaMichael can drop back there, cover those kind of Rivaldo fair weather type tight ends, and that's huge. I mean, go back to this Georgia game. Brock Bowers, like if you have a guy that is just built like this. I mean, look at him. Just look at the picture. Like
Sophomore.
just yeah, he's fitting. I don't even know if he has his driver's license yet, man. Like it's wild. It's wild, and that's what they. That's I don't know what y'all put in the water up there about an hour up the road, but that's how a lot of them come out, man. And one thing that really excites me about JaMichael Garrett is the guy that also committed that we're going to be teaming him up with in that linebacker room. And that is Shadarius Toodle, the 4-star linebacker, 6'3", 220. It's a solid 220 out of Mobile, Alabama. That's the same high school that our boy Blake graduated from.
Yep.
Shadarius is the 85th overall player in the country, according to On3, the number 8 linebacker. He is the number 93 overall player in the country, according to 247, the number 4 linebacker. And Rivals has him as a 51st player overall in the country and the number 4 linebacker. Once again, I say, guys, a consensus top 100 defensive prospect has committed to the Auburn Tigers. Talking about cup full of juice, Shadarius and his father have no shortage of juice. Now, it's different. Dad is very outspoken publicly, right?
Yes.
And if you go to a Cottage Hill game, basketball, whatever, you're going to see Mr. Toodle out there bringing the energy, getting the crowd involved, getting everybody hype. And I'm sure if you're on social media, you've seen it. You saw the jacket that he lent our boy Charlie 5 for the interview. And Blake talked about him a little bit about a week ago, just kind of the man he is in the community and everything with that. But Shadarius, from what I can tell, interview-wise and everything, he seems pretty quiet. Well-spoken, polite, but just quiet kind of guy. And that's the kind of linebacker that ought to scare the hell out of you when they don't talk a whole lot. And then all of a sudden you turn on the tape and he's just separating people from the football. I mean, this kid, physical, all over the field, instincts kind of show to me is that, like we talked about with all these prospects tonight, still got 2 years of high school ball left and already has a pretty high IQ, a good understanding of what to do. And it's one of them things, it's very much like DJ Barber, where their games are a little bit different, but as far as just where's the ball at? Wherever the ball is, that's where Shadarius Toodle is probably going to be at. And whether it's, they complete a pass 7-8 yards down the field, Shadarius is going to track him down and tackle him. Pitch in the backfield, Shadarius probably going to blow it up and get there. Like it doesn't matter what level of defense you're on. Like he is just that kind of linebacker. He can do a lot of things. At 6'3", 220, he's a thumper. He's the kind of linebacker that you're going to have really kind of coming up there and hitting the running back. It's a little bit different game than JaMichael Garrett, but more of an old school type headhunter. I'm here to make contact. We'll probably get a couple targeting calls in his career if I had to guess, because the boy likes to hit. Blake.
High IQ player. One thing I will say is he is a hard worker. Brings the lunch pail every day. Hard worker. When I talk to people around that school, I say, hey, tell me a little bit about him. One of my really, really close friends is a coach for Cottage Hill. He coaches baseball out there. He's around the football program. He's very, very high on Shadarius Toodle. Like he talks very high on him. and he just says, Blake, he's just a hard worker, man. He doesn't say a whole lot. He just brings the lunch pail every day and he goes to work. And I think you see a couple of guys on Auburn's roster like that right now. And when I think of a Eugene Asante, it kind of reminds me of a Shadarius Toodle, a guy that's just going to bring the lunch pail to work. He's not going to say a whole lot. He just might hit you with a hard work. Let's go. Like it might be a little some pump up clips here and there. A man, a few words. Like he's just going to be real quiet, but he's going to work. And I think that's what kind of player Shadarius is. He's very athletic, very very athletic. Um, Plays multiple sports. Like gets after it. I think when Auburn got on him, I started asking around, what is Auburn's chances? I know there was a couple of other schools that were very, very high on Shadarius. One of those was LSU.
Mm-hmm.
And when I see LSU wants a kid to play linebacker for them, I want him. I want him. They might have the best linebacker, one of the best linebackers in the country right now. We all know what Mr. Perkins is about. So when I started seeing the schools line up after Shadarius, I said, hey, I got to get out there and watch this kid get after it. And when he committed to Auburn, I can say this. I told y'all a little bit about this the other night. That school was, when I went there, we were very, very small, very small private school. We were in AISA. We transitioned in my senior year to Alabama High School Athletic Association. And to see kids come there and work hard and be able to go to Division One now, and our football program grow to what it is now, where a couple of years ago they went to the third round of the playoffs and they sent a wide receiver to UAB and things like that. Now Shadarius is committed to Auburn. I'm dang proud of that school and how far they've come, because I remember when it was difficult, man. The transition from AISA to Alabama High School, it was difficult. And to see kids now putting that school on the map and what Shadarius has done, it makes me smile, man. I'm really proud of him. And just, you got that. You want to see your high school do great, man. You want to see your high school put kids at the next level, and him going to Auburn, that makes me really proud. It makes me happy. I can't wait to get out to Cottage Hill this year and watch him play and just be around his family, and just I want to do an interview with him. I want to do an interview with his family and just say, hey, tell us a little bit about what was it for Auburn, like what was it that just caught your attention, and just get to know them and everything. I love it, Dustin. It makes me proud, man.
Yeah, for sure. I think anybody out there, if you get a player from your high school to go to Auburn, it definitely fire you up. And when they're
Yeah.
6'3", 220, and they move like this one, yeah, man. Yeah, you talk about that athleticism and you put it with that frame, that is an absolute dog right there.
Yeah.
I wish he was a 25. I wish he was coming sooner. But we'll wait, Shadarius. We're happy to wait for you, buddy. And yeah, definitely going to get up there and get a lot of content for our members on Mr. Toodle this fall. Going to get a whole lot of content on Mr. Garrett, on Mr. Antonio Coleman, on Mr. Dante Core. Y'all know we got it all coming for y'all. And if you are wondering to yourself, how could I get said content? How could I be a part of everything that's going on over there at the Uptempo podcast? Hit that join button. You're going to have to go to desktop. We had about 4 or 5 people, Blake, on after Tuesday's episode asking how to join the membership. So I've seen where a couple of y'all have so far. Shout out to our boy Samuel the Sniper. I saw you in the chat earlier. Glad to have you, brother. $3.99 a month. You become a JV Squad member. I give you access to the members only live chat. You get your member shout outs, priority reply to comments. We see you in there. We're going to try to get your comment up here. Early access to videos that we do. And then Varsity Squad, that's where you can get the recruiting update videos game day group chat, which you can get in that if you're the JV squad as well. Gameplay with you, got the online dynasty going. We're having a good time with that. But hey, if you just want to play us in a quick game, we'll shoot our gamer tag to you. We'll get in there and make something happen. Blake does watch the film on Auburn baseball. I do the recruiting. We do some basketball, discounted merchandise, just a whole lot going on over here, man. So you're going to have to go on your desktop, but hit that join button. And then a couple of y'all got us at the comments. Somebody hit me up on Twitter asking how to do it. If you got any questions, just DM us and we will point you in the right direction, man. But Blake, before we get out of here tonight, one of the things that I wanted to talk about was we look at these last two commitments that we talked about in JaMichael Garrett and Shadarius Toodle.
Mm-hmm.
And we've already kind of mentioned, and everyone knows it's been the kind of story of the last week or so, Auburn's momentum in the state of Alabama.
Yep.
Between Antonio Coleman, JaMichael Garrett, and Shadarius Toodle, getting in there and getting that 251 area back. I don't even know if I say getting it back. I don't know if Auburn's ever had it. Like we've pulled some guys out of there, but actually had it as like our territory. I don't even know if that's ever been a thing. So
Yeah.
I shouldn't say getting it back, like getting in there, just getting in there and getting guys. You talk about it all the time, man. It's just so big for us because they like I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what y'all do up there. They just fall off trees. Like they're everywhere. No matter where you look, every high school has got a guy that's playing D1 football. The private schools, the public, it doesn't matter. They're just all over the place in that area. So, what does this mean for the future of Auburn, man? If we can set up for the first time in at least me and your life a pipeline from the Mobile area to Auburn.
So what it means to me is, I'll be honest with you, Mobile is a very, very Alabama rich city. Like, it is Alabama fans everywhere, just controlled with Alabama fans. It is insane. We're very few here in Mobile. So I think growing up here, that's a lot of the kids here just attach themselves to Alabama. You know, it's they grow up Alabama fans, and then the kids nowadays, all they saw was Nick Saban winning national championships, and so it intensified. But now you got a coach that can come down and he can relate to kids in the Mobile area. He can go to the inner cities of DIP or Pritchard, and he can relate to those kids and say, hey, look, you know, like you got Coach Marcus Davis as wide receiver, goes to Foley High School with Perry. Perry didn't have the best upbringing. Marcus Davis said, hey, I can relate to you, man. Like, I didn't have it either. I went through things. I think that plays a huge role in coming down here and getting these kids. And you can, there's a huge thing to me with being able to relate to a kid, man, and being able to have that one-on-one interaction. Like, if you watch the Perry Thompson documentary and you saw him and Coach Davis just talking to each other, you could see the same struggles. Like, you could see Marcus Davis saying, man, like, I've been through that same thing. Like, I've had to struggle too. All right. I had to grow up in something like what you grew up in. And I think that plays a big deal to me, man. And so there's great talent in the city of Mobile. And you have a coach with Hugh Freeze that can open up. And even if he opens up about his past to these kids' families, he's honest. All right. He's honest about it. Hey, I'm a man of God. Like, I changed my ways. All right. I got right. I got right with my family, got right with the Lord. That's what he said, man. Hey, I allow these kids and their families to come to my home, and we treat them just like everybody else. There ain't no line that goes on. It's just me and you straight up. I'm going to treat your kid like a son for the next 3 to 4 years. I think that plays, man. And when you come down here to Mobile, we're good people. We work hard. We get after it. We try to do it the right way, man. Like, I know the athletic ability in this city is insane. And if you can get kids like a Nick Fairley, a Mike McNeil, like Mike was crazy back in the day, man. Like he was so good, but there's so much like Damian Craig. I know Damian takes a lot of heat for everything, in his coaching career that went on at Auburn, but Damian Craig is one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play at Auburn University, and he's from right here in Mobile, Alabama. So the talent's here, and Hugh Freeze is going to take control of it. I think you have the coaching staff that can come down here and get it done with these kids, and I think you're seeing that, right? Like Bryce Kane. I heard numerous times how Auburn would not leave Baker High School because they wanted Bryce Kane.
Hmm.
And you gotta look, man. You see Hugh roll up in a minivan, dog. You see he roll up in a minivan and get out and dap somebody up. And we like that. That's how we live down here, So it's it's fun to see, man. Like just being from the 251 and seeing these kids change the face of Auburn, and seeing Perry Thompson with the videos and the pictures today put a smile on my face, because I was like, man, I'll be straight up with y'all. I love Mobile and Baldwin County. All right, like the talent. If anytime I see a kid getting love, I don't care that Ryan Williams went to Alabama. I hope he has a great career. All right, I love it. I love seeing kids get out of here and go be great. And to see these kids go to Auburn, Antonio Coleman, seeing Auburn get inside of Saraland, him pick Auburn and shut his recruitment down and say, hey, you ain't got to worry about nothing else. Man, I'm proud. I'm proud because I know what talent we got here. And I think it's big for Auburn. I think it's huge. If you can attack Montgomery, if you can go up into Birmingham and creep into there like we've been doing, it's huge, man. It is huge for Auburn. And hey, look, like we were talking about the other night, Bama can they can recruit. They can do it at a high level. Let them recruit California and Texas, and hey, there's great athletes out there. That's awesome, man. I'm hey, good job, But let's win Mobile, Montgomery, and Birmingham, and even on up into Huntsville. Let's go win all those areas. That's where I want to win at. So I'm proud of these Mobile kids, man. I'm glad we got a coach that can relate. I'm glad we got assistant coaches that can come down here and relate. And that's a big deal to me, man. I'm really proud of these kids.
It's always felt like to me as this untapped territory for Auburn. I've always looked at it and been like, dude, if we can just get in here and get our fair share, it'll change some things, man. Instead of just he's from Mobile, he's going to Bama, which is the way it was under Nick Saban, and even really before. Like we did a little bit better, but still, like Blake said, it's kind of been this Bama stronghold. It's really weird. If you go into Mobile, you're going to see less Auburn fans than you will in Pensacola. Like it's strange. It's just a Bama, it's just a
100%.
Bama hotbed, man. So I'm really excited for what it could mean. What could it mean 5, 6, 7 years from now if we look back and it's like, hey, over these last 5 years, did you know we've pulled 17 kids out of the 251? Hell,
Love
6, 7 of them got drafted. Like, it could change the face of the program, man. Before we get out of here, please hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, share it out on social media. Let everybody know that we're doing big things over here. We are right there on the door trying to get the 2,000 subs. Please help us out with doing that. Blake, I got to get on my soapbox for just a minute tonight before we close out. I've seen a lot of this on social media the last couple of weeks, and I see it in our comments and stuff on the videos. And I'm not trying to talk down. I understand the mindset. I know that kids flip. Yes, you have the Antonio Coleman situations. So I get it. But this idea that we shouldn't be that excited for the 2026 class being the number one class in the country, it's just wrong. It's wrong because, first off, I know what everybody's going to do when signing day for 2025 officially comes. When it's all said and done and the kids send in their national letter of intent, everybody is going to go. Flip the page. Where's Auburn at? Now, when you do that and you flip the page, how far down do you want to have to go before you see us? Mm-hmm. Right now, you wouldn't have to go down at all because we're at the top. We're at the top of the list. Let's look at how many commitments Auburn has right now. It's either 19 or 20, right, in this 2024 class or 25 class.
Yep.
We think that we're going to get Jared Smith in a couple days. You know, we think there's some other flips that could happen. We very well could be sitting at 22, 23 commits before we kick off our first game. So the class is almost done. At that point, you spend the entire season making sure you keep your guys, making sure Ohio State doesn't come in and poke Willie Autry, those kind of things. You focus on your class, and then there's a few guys that Naheem offers you to try to poach him from Ohio State. It kind of gives you that option to maybe go flirt with Caleb Cunningham. But your class is built up. How did we do that? How did we get to the point to where this class is already built up and inside the top 10? From all the work done last year. It doesn't just start all of a sudden. It starts 2, 3, 4 years in advance. You think people are not calling Trent Seaborn every day trying to get their foot in the door? They don't care that he's 2027. Do y'all still plan on being Auburn fans in 2 years? I do. Yep. I'm going to be right here. And I sure as hell hope we got a top 5 recruiting class. I really wouldn't mind if it stayed number 1. Also, it gives you some wiggle room. Oh, we're not going to finish. To the Bama fans, Auburn's not going to finish with the number 1 class. Okay. And it falls to what? 3rd? Cool. I'm okay with that. Good deal. Like, it's not going to fall from 1st all the way down to 15th. I bet this 2026 class never, ever falls outside the top 8. And I'm being pretty conservative there. Probably not going to fall outside the top 5. Also, you've already got, when I just read off all 3 of the guys that we read off, I think the lowest ranking on, they were all top 200 players. Every site had the 3 commitments we talked about tonight in the top 200. Yep. That means it's consensus, man. Everyone agrees. These guys are elite. Every school wants them. And you're the one gaining their commitment. Are people going to try to flip them? Yes. Are we going to get some 2026 commitments that get flipped? Yes. But we're going to do some flipping too, so that'll even out. Where do you want to start the race? I want to start in the front, man.
Yep.
I want to start in the front. I don't care that it's 2 years from now. Because when we get to this point next year, the 2026 class will be about wrapped up. Do you know how much easier it's going to be now when we go into next summer, when we go into the end of this season and get into that whole recruiting grind again, and all these kids are, as your 2025 class is officially done, and you get into that next wave, and they already look and see, well, Auburn's already number 1. They've already got JaMichael Garrett, Shadarius Toodle, Hezekiah Harris, Darius Gray. They got a top flight offensive lineman already down there in the front, who, by the way, is fired up to be an Auburn Tiger. He tweets about being an Auburn Tiger every single day.
Yep.
There's look, I get it, you know, the wanting to be cautious and all that. Some things are just worth booging. They're just worth booging. And Auburn having the number 1 2026 class is just worth booging. I don't want to hear any of this. I don't want to hear it. Be happy about it. Period. Yep. Be happy about it. Because do you think, like, I don't think we're used to being in this position. I don't think we're used to being in this position. Because we know how great Alabama has recruited over the Saban era. But I promise y'all, and all y'all know that follow it closely, guess how it always looked? Alabama would have a top 2, 3 class, if they weren't number 1. And then if you look down to next year, they already had 6, 7 guys committed, and that class was number 1. That's how it works. That's just how the game works nowadays. When they bumped, look, back in the day, Blake, I remember like taking school off on February 2nd. I'm not going to school. I'm not going to work because we might get 7, 8, 9 commitments that we find out today. They're going to sit at the table. They're going to flip the hats and do all this, and then we'll find out. It doesn't work that way anymore.
Yep.
These kids want to do what Cam Coleman did. They want to come in December. That way they can put on a show at the spring game, and when fall camp comes, I got to learn the offense. I already know the offense. Now I'm ready to roll. Cam Coleman left 8A to go to his high school prom. Okay? All right. Balled out, showed everybody I'm going to be a first round pick if everything goes well, and I still got to go to my high school prom. Like, they're getting in here earlier and earlier, man. So it's not even that far away. Like, I know you look at 2026 and you think it's that far away. It's not. That game is in the second quarter right now. Do you want to go into halftime with the lead? I do. And right now, Auburn's going into the lead and into halftime with a 2-touchdown lead in the 2026 class. All we got to do is just do what we do and finish the game out.
Yep.
So I saw a lot of that, Blake, and I kind of understand it, but it's a short-sighted viewpoint. Be happy. Be happy. When Auburn gets commitments, be happy. Y'all, if Tyler Lockhart flips back, that's going to be the third person that was committed to Auburn, decommitted, and then commits back. You know how crazy that is? This staff is absolutely cutthroat and relentless, dog. They do not quit. Bug, y'all. Bug.
You said if. I say when.
I know. I'm trying to. Hey. I know.
But look, I'll close my final close, and I'll close it out right here. Suni Lee, Olympic medalist. Just wanted to say congratulations, but I gotta say congratulations to Miss Simone Biles. I know she doesn't have any affiliation to Auburn, but what she did puts her down as one of the greatest Olympic athletes and one of the greatest athletes that we have ever seen. Man, woman, whatever. Elite what she did in Paris. I got to give her props, bro. It's some of the greatest things I've ever seen from a woman who can just flip like that, bro. It's insane. It blows my mind. And I love watching her compete. And look, to all our Olympians over there, keep battling, keep winning gold, keep winning all the medals. I love watching the Olympics, Dustin, and I just had to give a shout out because they're the greatest athletes on earth, man. And what she did today, it can't be touched, bro. I think she's the GOAT of gymnastics, and she's she's special, bro.
So. Hey, shout out Suni Lee, War Damn Eagle. Daniel, I got to give you props where we go. This picture, dog.
Yeah, love it.
I'm digging the profile picture switch up. Yeah, Trey Thompson looked huge. He's gonna have a huge summer, or excuse me, a huge fall, and we're excited for it, man. Please hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. We will see you guys next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Members, stay locked into that feed. More stuff coming for y'all. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. It's War Damn Eagle forever, baby.
War Damn.